I'm planning to elope, well, simply because my parents are trying to ruin my wedding. Yeah, they paid for it all, so they think they can dangle that over my head. Well, I have news for them. I'm not gonna let that happen. My name's Mr. Edito, and today, the highlighted story is a wild wedding. You guys won't believe it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and let's get right into it. My baby sister is the golden child. Or maybe that's unfair to say. She survived cancer when she was a child. It was the darkest period of my parents' life. I don't remember much of it because my parents shielded me from the horrific truth. I knew she was sick, and I remember all my childhood was spent in hospitals, but never did I know my sister almost died. Until many years later. I was 12 and she was 10. After she beat her sickness, she became the obvious favorite in the house. She got everything she wanted, and sometimes it was at my expense. My sister grew up to be a brat. Now, 20 years later, she's still bratty, although we do get along a lot better than we did when we were teenagers or young adults. My wedding is in July. Neither my fiancé nor I have the money for a big wedding. We settled for a small wedding, about 30 people, at my fiancé's grandparents who have a beautiful house with a lake view. My parents, when they heard, they said no way and offered to pay for a bigger wedding and a better venue. We did not agree at first, but later we did not want to disappoint them. It seemed like it was important to them. Last week, my mom invited me over. My dad, mom, and sister's boyfriend asked me what I would think if my sister's boyfriend proposed to my sister during the wedding. So it becomes an engagement party as well as a wedding. Mom has seen reels on Instagram about people proposing to the maid of honors or bridesmaids and thought it was cute. My sister is a maid of honor. I said no, that's ridiculous, and then I cracked a giggle. My mom was livid. She told me I was selfish and ungrateful, and I accused her of favoritism. I told her I always thought it was odd that you'd pay for my wedding, but now I know the reason why. She started crying and kicked me out of the house. Later, both she and my future brother-in-law sent me text messages warning me for the exposure of their plan to my sister. My fiancé was disappointed but not sure what we could do. My parents have spent almost $30,000, and it's too late to cancel. My mother called me today and planned the proposal, and I begged her not to ruin my day, please. She told me since she was the one paying, she can make requests and that I should let go of my jealousy and resentment towards my sister because she's innocent in all of this. But the thing is, this day will be about my sister. I told my fiancé to ask his grandparents if they're still willing to host. If they are, I'll revert to the original plan, the house by the lake. If not, I will just elope. Not sure yet if I'm going to tell my family and cancel the wedding, or just let them have their grand proposal party. None of my family is invited to my wedding, including my sister. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, there's an update for this story, but before we hop into that update, I came across another posting by OP. OP is questioning herself and is unsure if whether to warn her sister or not. I can't tell her since she has no idea her boyfriend's going to propose, and this would ruin the whole thing. At the same time, it would be ruining anyways when I elope and she wonders why. But as of this morning, my mom still says they're going ahead with the proposal, even without my help. The original plan is that I should be the one making the speech and telling my sister there's a surprise for her, and today is about us two. Blah, blah, blah. And then her girlfriends and boyfriends do some rehearsed dance to their favorite song, and then he proposes. If I know her well, she would not mind being proposed to on my wedding day, so it's a loss-loss situation for me. Sometimes I think maybe I should agree just to get it over with, but I'm so angry and my fiance actually doesn't want me to cave this time. Since we are both happy with the backyard wedding, we even asked Mom to donate what she planned on spending on the wedding to the Childhood Cancer Fund. In our names like that, since we've requested a wedding gift from our guest. But she insisted on a party for the extended family. I had a back and forth texting with my future brother-in-law, where he called me jealous and bitter. I've now blocked him. He texted my fiancé apologizing, but we did not answer. My plan now is to get married a week earlier at my grandparents-in-law's with 20 guests. Well, that's because we managed to change our honeymoon trip booking to be 3 weeks instead of 2, with departure the morning after the wedding. My mom's wedding is already paid in full with no refund possibility. With such short notice, 3 weeks, that was the whole point, I think. To spring this information on me so close to the wedding date, so I can't really do anything about it. Now, they will have 1 week's heads up, anyways, when they see my wedding pictures on social media. They'll probably just turn the wedding into an engagement party and have a blast. So, it's a win-win, I hope. Okay guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, that's a little bit of that. But now, it's time for the update. And guys, let me warn you, this update gets wild. Smash that like button if you're enjoying. Here's the update. I really want to thank everyone who showed support. I'm now happily married and in the Como, Italy for my honeymoon. I tried to stay away from my phone, but I was so curious to see my family's reaction to my elopement just a week earlier than planned. It was really ugly. I must start with saying that I really tried my best to negotiate and compromise with my family, and truly explain that this was hurting me. I have nothing against my sister, and to be honest, nothing against her getting engaged on my wedding, but it was the principle that made it very clear to me I had absolutely no opinion or say in the matter, or what was going to happen on what was supposed to be my special day, and that's where I drew the line. It wasn't a wish or a request. It was a matter of fact, and it was decided. So I told my mom that I'm not going to attend the party she paid for. Maybe they should just make it an engagement party instead. She got very upset and told me that the engagement was supposed to be a surprise. I told her that I was just giving her the heads up since she's about to lose an insane amount of money. She did not take me seriously, guys. Like, I wasn't going to cancel my wedding because of this little trivial thing. What she didn't know is that I've already made plans to get married a week earlier at my grandparents-in-law. We've invited our closest friends, and some even had to book earlier flights and take more vacation days for those people I was extra grateful for. What was left was my sister. I've been back and forth arguing, back and forth, negotiating with my parents and future brother-in-law. I decided that even if this would ruin her surprise, I had to tell her, so I did. She wasn't really happy with Mom, but she was more upset that I ruined her surprise. And she, as I expected, thought I could have just sucked it up and gone with the flow. I didn't tell her about my new wedding date. The wedding was dreamlike. In the back of my head, I was hurt of the people who, quote, loved me the most weren't there. But I pushed that thought away and refused to let it ruin our day. My husband was amazing. He promised to make me happy for the rest of my life and make up for every heartbreak I've experienced in my past. My in-laws surprised us with upgrading our honeymoon to a 5-star hotel.
I've had my friends and some cousins and my favorite aunt attending. We asked them not to live stream or upload any pictures to social media until we're already on our honeymoon. We also asked them not to engage in any altercations online with the family. Today, my mom made a long Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram post bashing me and my husband, calling me ungrateful and disrespectful with pictures of my wedding, telling people I've cost her a big old chunk of her savings and she's now demanding compensation. Her Facebook post was shared about 200 times, and the majority of my extended family is so angry with me. She never once tried to contact me, and I really thought she would bombard my phone. Instead, both her and my dad announced that they're cutting me off and are expecting compensation. Future brother-in-law commented that I ruined his surprise, and my sister even made a post about being tired of jealous bees. Yep, but she used a bad word. And haters. None of the people we invited has commented, even though some of them were directly attacked. So they did respect our wishes. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and just turn the wedding into an engagement party now. I really hope they do, so the money's not wasted. It's on a Saturday. I'm sorry the update got long, but with the amount of people asking, I hope this is what you wanted. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So that's the end of the story, but there was a comment, and it's confirming OP's wedding did end up being a party for her sister. Here's the quote. Yes, they did, and they blew the internet with pictures and posts about how magical the night was. Little sister made sure to write about haters not ruining her special day, and how she's surrounded by the people that actually matter. From what I gathered, about 30 to 40% of the guests that were invited showed up. This means they can't sue me for the wedding, so it's all good.
At first, I was feeling bad for OP's sister, well, because OP was going to ruin the surprise. But the way that OP's sister treated OP after finding out about the surprise and basically blaming it all on OP, I think she made the right decision. OP is better off with her in-laws family as they seem so much less toxic and actually enjoyable to be around. As for the mother of the story, I think she's pretty vile for trying to take her daughter's favorite day and turn it into her other daughter's favorite day. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Now, there's another story coming up, and I'll read you the title. It states, "We need that house more than you because we have kids." Guys, let's get right to it. Story 2's coming up. Smash that like button, click subscribe to the channel as it's the best way to support me. Here comes story number 2. 5 years ago, my husband and I bought a house. We've been saving for years for the down payment, and the stars must have aligned for us to get it. Everything worked out perfectly. The house was a major fixer-upper, but it had land, and we were happy with it. Turns out, brother-in-law had looked at the house when it was listed as well. They decided it was too much work to fix up and not worth it. They wanted major upgrades too, whereas my husband and I are very simple people. We don't need granite countertops or a soaking tub or a hardwood throughout the house. Met up with the family recently, and brother-in-law was talking about how cramped their condo has become with 2 kids now. Brother-in-law decided this was the time to tell us that we should trade houses. I shit you not. Brother-in-law is very entitled. Brother-in-law proceeded to argue that we are only 2 people, and their family is growing and could use the space. Literally suggested that we give ours to him and buy his condo. I laughed. I knew he was serious, but I couldn't help but laugh. I never in my life imagined someone could be so damn entitled that they would demand someone giving up their home for the sake of another family. Are you kidding me? Brother-in-law then got mad at me
for not even considering it and began justifying all the reasons his family needed our house more. Oh, you think this would be the worst part, right? Nope, it gets better. We finished the basement, so there's only one bathroom in the house. Brother-in-law informed me that if we were to trade houses, we would need to make some major upgrades first, because he wouldn't have time to be able to do it. He was somehow inexplicably certain that I would see this logical and this plan is good, and just trade houses, because apparently they needed the extra space so much more. And now my brother-in-law isn't talking to me because I laughed through the whole thing and would not take him seriously. It's a win-win. Go ahead, punish me by not talking to me. At least then you'll stop trying to make me the bad guy, because I have 2 spare rooms I don't, quote, use. My husband and I each have an office, and tell everyone how horrible I am because, well, I wouldn't buy out their condo at market value while giving you ours at the goodness of our heart. Last I know, he was now trying to tell my father-in-law to retire and move into the city so that they could have the farm. Joke's on him. Father-in-law already talked about it and has left the farm to me and my husband in his will. Because, well, we actually do farm, and brother-in-law thinks it's too much work. I always thought the internet exaggerated that people like this exist. I thought situations like this couldn't possibly be real. What the hell are these people thinking?
I can't believe brother-in-law was this type of entitlement. I haven't seen someone this entitled in so long. Luckily, OP was having none of it and just continued to giggle as this entitled brother-in-law was letting loose. Let me know how you would have handled the situation if you were OP and brother-in-law said something so wild like this. You guys know I love hearing your opinions, and I read every single comment. So show some love and let's discuss the stories. Drop your comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You guys know the routine. It's Mr. Ruddito. I hope each and every one of you have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.